So, as I said earlier, it's the first week of Advent. And the first week is faith. So, do you have faith? Do you have faith in God? Do you believe in God? Yes? But what if we change that around? And instead of having faith in God, we have faith from God. Does that change for you? When you say that I have faith in God, that actually places God outside of ourselves, doesn't it? It places God out in somewhere out there, having faith in God. But when we have faith with God, that changes the whole three words is totally different, isn't it? Faith with God. I come in to a relationship with God. My faith is from God, from within. Very different, isn't it? Yes. Where I'm getting a lot of my material today is again from Eric Butterworth, who I told you last week was a big legend of unity. Wrote, I think he had 16 bestsellers. A speaker, and we refer to him quite often. But he tells of the story of a man, the father of this son, and the son asks that, "Do you believe in God, Dad?" No, can't say that I do. Can't say that I do. Well, how can you not believe in God? No need to. Don't feel like I need to. So the son says, well, okay, I'll accept that. And then when he got home, he started thinking about what his father had said. And he started seeing the action of his father every day. The action of going out and sharing his time and his talents. The action of being loving to other people. The action of making a difference in the world. So did he have to believe in God to be that love? No. He didn't have to believe in God because he was demonstrating God through his actions. We can go out and say, I believe in God. And I've heard so many people, I believe. And they walk out and there is no demonstration of the kindness and the goodness of God coming through them, has them. It is just empty words. So believing, these are actions, loving actions, and faith in just knowing that it is all within you, no matter what you believe about it. If you are being a demonstration of it, you are believing it whether you affirm that belief or not, because you are it. It is an expression of the God, of the universe, of the source within you that radiates outward. Yes. God-centered. How are we God-centered? We are God-centered from within. I am centered in God from God. Right? And when we center ourselves in this realization that we acquire through spiritual understanding, that we acquire through taking these actions. And the first action is coming into alignment with that divinity that you are. That Christ consciousness, the I am of yourselves. That is when we are centered in God. And that is what it is about. Centering ourselves within here. If you are focused on the materiality of the world, if you are focusing on the daily news that's coming through every day, if you are focusing on the negative conditions of anything, You are centered outside of yourself. You are not in connection with the truth of your spiritual being. Your truth and your faith is lying in the faith of materiality. Your faith is lying in the faith of the news that you hear every day. So faith can be either positive faith or negative faith. And positive faith is the kingdom of heaven. Positive faith are the keys to the kingdom. So you can have faith in all things, but the only faith that will grant you the kingdom within and being God-centered, the only faith comes through you, has the universe. The universe flows through you. It's constantly flowing until you block it off. Until your faith begins to lie in outward conditions. Once your faith is aligned in the outward conditions, you are no longer in the flow of the universe. You have blocked that flow, and your conditions, physical, mentally, emotional, spiritually, will be affected by that blocked flow. But does that flow ever stop? Is God within you ever not within you? Is the principle, the 12 powers that we have of faith ever not in you? Always, always, always present. God is presence. There is no absence of God. There is no absence of presence. There is no absence of faith. It is always there until you decide to block it off by believing and having faith in what is not spiritual truth. God believes in you. And this goes back to this story about believing in God. It does not matter. It does not matter, because God believes in you no matter what, right? And as you start changing your consciousness, your beliefs will change. Your belief in God, in the universe, and all of this will no longer be a belief in something, but you will know that it is what and who you are. It is what is flowing through all of us. And that's where your belief will start changing. You'll start transforming. You'll start feeling the empowerment of that God within that believes in you. God believes in you no matter what. What if you got up every day knowing that? Would you make different choices knowing that God believes in you? Sure we would. Sure we would. So that's a great affirmation. Waking up and God believes in me. Probably change your whole day. Mistaken identity. So what happens when we are not feeling that God-centeredness that we are? It is a faulty self-evaluation of ourselves. You are not evaluating yourself from a consciousness of spirit. You are evaluating yourselves from the evidence that you're seeing outside that is false, that is an illusion, that is just an experience that you are experiencing as a human being. But it is not your truth. And when we get to the place where we start having self-observation, when we start paying attention to how we feel and how we think and how we're treating ourselves. How are you treating yourself? Are you loving yourself? Are you kind to yourself? How are you treating others? Do you treat them from that place of self-love where all else is love? Because that's where it starts, right? So when we are mistaken about our identity and we really believe that we are this human being with no control over our life, when we believe that about ourselves, we've blocked that faith. We've blocked that flow. We've blocked that love. Only because we have forgotten. We've just forgotten who and what we are. So that's why we practice observing ourselves and our actions, paying attention. That is when you're awakening. You're waking up, right? You're no longer sleeping. You're no longer slumbering through life. You're no longer set on autopilot. Just things happening to me. That's what happens when we get out of that alignment. We think that everything is happening to us. And it is. In that consciousness, it is. Conscious means being conscious of what you are doing, thinking, being. Being conscious of it. How can we expand our consciousness if we are not even conscious of what is going on in our consciousness? Right? So self-evaluation and observation is so important. As you go through your day and you're starting to feel negative about life, and you're starting to feel less than, stop, pause. This is not who I am. Observe it. Be conscious of it. Make different choices from that observation so that you know who your identity is. Spirituality is a supreme inner communication between you and everything. You know, we have a lot of healers in our church. We have a lot of people who communicate with different dimensions of life. Do you think you all have that same power to do that? You may. But the more that you are conscious of the spiritual world, of the spirit within your being, the more you are conscious of that and you live from that, you start receiving messages. You start being able to communicate with the other planes of life. I am getting to a place in my life where I'm hearing, and I'm not hearing somebody talk to me, but there's a presence that is within me that I know what it's saying to me today. Because I am consciously aware of it. So my communication is opening up. Those blocks are being removed. And I'm starting to hear the communication of source, of universe, that is starting to flow through me. So yes, we can communicate in a way that humanly we hear. We hear with spiritual ears, and we see with spiritual eyes. That's spirituality. The basic law of mind science according to your faith. So be it unto you. This is law. We have to remember that there is universal law. The law of attraction, the law of prosperity. Everything is governed under a law, a spiritual law. Just like we have laws in our humanness, in our materiality world here, there are also laws of the universe. But these laws do not change. They're absolute, they're unchanging. Why would we not want to live from those laws, knowing that we are in alignment with that God-centered source? A law that never changes. A law that fuels us into a powerful being in this human world. It's law. The golden key. So if you remember the little pamphlet that I did a talk on last year sometime, Emmett Fox, another big author and very connected to unity. Emmett Fox talks about, instead of focusing on the difficulties, focus on God. That's all it is. That's all it amounts to. So when you go out into your daily life, what are you focusing on? You focusing on the difficulties? Are you focusing on what's not right with your life? Are you focusing on your illness? I know what you guys are focusing on. But that's okay. It's okay to focus on what you choose. But just remember, when you focus on the negative, when you focus on the lack, and when you focus on the fear, you are going to create more of it. So get ready. If you're fearful, get ready. Because something will come in your life that will cause you to feel that fear. Because you're creating. You're a creator. If you're focusing on lack, that's my big issue with finances. Apparently, I am still focusing on that lack. Because that's what shows up for me in my life. So I'm not blaming anybody. Because I know it's something within me that is creating this lack in my life. And I'm trying to, whenever it comes up into my consciousness, I'm trying to pay attention to it. And I'm trying to release it and affirm my abundance. And I know in faith from God has God, I know that my abundance is here right now. And I am blessed for all that I have and that I am. And that's all that matters. So focus not on the difficulty, but focus on the God that is centered within you. Be still and know that I am God. Psalms 46:10. Be still. This is our only true way to stop and quiet everything outside of ourselves. Getting still. And the biggest thing about this that I want you to pay attention to and know that I am God. And what does the I am represent? The Christ consciousness of us, right? Be still and know that I am God. That God is your being. It is your expression. We don't have to feel like this is wrong to see this and affirm this as what we are. Because Jesus, our way shower, has given that message to us throughout the entire Bible, right? How many times did Jesus tell us this? Same message. That we're made in the image and likeness of God. That the Father and I are one. I kind of stress this pretty much on Sundays. For us to awaken to that identity. To correct the mistaken identity that any of us may be feeling about ourselves. And once you get to this place of knowing this wisdom, the faith within you, your life changes. You go higher and higher and higher. You start to rise above what's going on, right? Your perception changes. You start seeing everything that comes into your path as your opportunity. This is a time for my potential to show up. And when I say your potential, I want you to also remember that we are all here to express the universe in different ways. And what is right for you to express does not mean that that is right for another person. You are unique. And what you come here to be and express is the unique spirit that you are. So don't think that I have to be a certain way or act like this person or, be jealous of someone's gifts. Because you have your own. You have come here to be a unique expression of the I am. Why would we all be here if we weren't here to be unique in our individuality, right? I mean, think about it. If we were all just in that oneness, we were all here to do and be and show up as the same energy, why would we even have to be here? So in my opinion, I think that's why we are here. To express that uniqueness, that individuality of the spirit that is within each of us. So we're going to be still and we're going to know that I am God. So I'm going to do a little bit of a short meditation. And then we're going to listen to some music that affirms that for us, okay? So let's just place our feet on the floor. Get comfortable in your seats. Take some of your deep cleansing breaths in and out and release. Ground yourself. You all know how to do this. We're going to raise the vibration, the frequencies in our spiritual home here. Let's be still just a moment, if you will. And I want you to get this feeling that God is centered within you. There's nothing you have to do about it. Nothing you can do about it. You can't create it. You can't change it. You can't alter it. And you can't make it any more real. This is true spiritual reality. The whole universe is rushing, streaming, pouring into you from all sides while you just sit quiet. The universe is centered in you. All love, all power, all life, all creativity is centered in you. Not will be, or perhaps through some miracle fate it will happen, But right now, this is the reality of you. And as you think about it and believe it, then you're centered in this process. You are centered in God, and you make a contact. And thus, through your life, through your mind, through your heart, through your hands, there's a flow of dynamic activity. It is the natural activity of your life. You're simply releasing that which is really yours, and you allow it to flow. So we see you right now going forth from this place today, in tune with this God activity, that which somebody called a miracle of working power, but it's not a miracle at all. It's the dynamic potential of your own being effortlessly released so that you can do the kinds of things that you need to do and do them easily, do them effortlessly, and do them successfully and fulfillingly. And you will do this. And we're grateful for this consciousness. And let's just for a moment feel grateful. We don't have to put words around the feeling. We don't have to say, I'm grateful, or I give thanks to God. Just feel grateful. Feel the sense of thanksgiving. Grateful for the fact that God is centered in you, that the universe believes in you. Grateful that you are a glorious, wonderful instrument through which the creative process flows easily and fulfillingly. So let's relax and listen to this song of God is, I am.